Hello to all my freedom loving woo homies out there. It's your boy Sid, the Tarot Guy Next Door, back with a collective reading for the new moon in Pisces, which will be taking place on Monday, February 20th. As always, well, the new normal, so to speak, I will be doing a 5x3 tableau. And the collective significator that I've chosen for us for this season is the King of Coins. And as always, I have 3 oracle cards that I've set to the side. So while I'm doing the reading, you can look at them and whatnot and choose which one resonates with you the most, or which ones resonate with you the most. And I'll do that at the end of the reading. And the question that I shuffled on is, what should we be focusing on? I'm honestly not a huge fan of the question, but I will explain at the very end of this video what I think is going on with that. So, as a reminder, I do not do reversals when I do a tableau. So let me just find the King of Coins here. Let us see. Come on, King. No, that is probably the Page of Cups. There you are. So the King of Coins is here. 1, 3, 4, 5. Don't panic at that tower. And the Sun card. So the Magician was the bottom of the deck. So I'm gonna put these cards in order. I'm gonna stare at them a bunch and I'll see you right now. So the purple candle went out while I was staring, which should give you an idea of how long I took. And the red candle isn't far behind. But to deliver the reading, there are several themes that came up while I was staring at these cards. I think to summarize the vibe using one visual metaphor, it's like there was a proverbial hurricane on the horizon, and that for this cycle, the focus should be on making the final preparations in order to prepare for the arrival of this hurricane. And it was, I really did find it funny turning the tower over. Yeah, that was oddly fitting. But there was another theme that jumped out while I was staring at these cards, and it is the notion of having trouble distinguishing between reality and fiction. And I think that as AI gets better and better, that nuance or that difference is going to fizzle away. I've been telling friends for a while now that probably within the next couple of years it'll be impossible to distinguish what is genuine from what isn't. And this is hinted at by these 2 cards here. Actually, this column here is kind of wild to me. I'm probably going to dig into it a little deeper before this reading is done. But this the combination of the High Priestess and the 2 of Swords, who is a blind woman and a woman who is kind of resting on that deep inner hidden knowledge. Having these 2 cards where they are here just before the Tower moment is very interesting to ponder. But I think that the main thing is to bring it back to the question, what should we be focusing on? I think that it is making the final preparations so that when this tower hits, that we are able to be there for the people who might, start freaking out. And I'm making it sound more dramatic than I actually think it's going to be, because this is the tower here. And, the tower is a very violent, sudden, lightning striking from out of nowhere. That's actually not what I anticipate. But, that's the card that's here. And with these cards around it, that's kind of the vibe that I'm getting. And the notion of preparing a safe haven for people for the people around you has come up in these readings before, which is why I don't want to rehash that too much, but that is a central theme or an important theme of this reading, especially with these three cards here. We got the Queen of Wands, High Priestess, Queen of Cups. These three energies combining right at the foundation in the middle of the reading, you know, the middle three columns here. It's not a theme that can really be ignored. So yeah, I think that's going to be an important thing. So coming back to what theme do I want to jump to? There's so much here. I hope that I can stay on a theme enough to not get too scatterbrained. One thing that came that I thought when I turned over this first column here is it was the best of times, it was the worst of times with this Five of Coins here. But there's a lens with which we can look at this reading, which can kind of snap it into a different perspective, which is if we view the top row as normie space, for lack of a better phrase, and the bottom row as, you know, the woo homies for whom this reading is more likely to resonate. And themes come up of like, while they were partying, having their fun, we were kind of locked out in the cold and doing the work to get to this point where despite how confusing reality can be at this checkpoint, that once this tower hits, you know, once this tower hits, the partying here might not seem as worth it, whereas this situation, I can't think of a word right now, and I don't want to pause, can prepare us for the safe haven that we can potentially prepare. Because again, I don't think it's going to be sunshine and rainbows for anyone if the things that I'm anticipating might happen over the next couple of years even begin to be true. One thing is for sure, the AI cat is out of the bag, and at some point we're gonna have to learn to navigate in a world where it doesn't really matter whether this video that we saw on the web is authentic or not. These two cards, where they are in the reading, is absolutely insane to me, especially with the two queens flanking the High Priestess here. But yeah. Oh, and another thing, coming back to the theme that I mentioned before of not being able to distinguish between illusion and reality, is this Page of Cups here. I've mentioned this before, which is the notion that one conversation that happens a lot in tarot spaces is whether or not the fish that's in the Page of Cups cup is real or not. And to have this card come here, you know, I often read the Page of Cups as vulnerably offering that quirky thing about yourself, that quirky thing that makes you unique and that maybe some of your friends tease you about, and to offer it vulnerably to others. Like, that's almost always how I read this card, which is part of the reason it took me so long to make sense of this spread. But I think that the theme that comes up in this top row here is the theme of newness. Like, yeah, the party might have been fun, but how real was it, and how worthwhile was it? Especially if after we leave this checkpoint, then it leads to, you know, a bunch of weight on our shoulders. And I don't think that the people inside the safe haven will be immune from this, because helping people cross over after the Tower moment with the Six of Swords here is probably not going to be an easy thing. And I, you know, when I gave my little tale of the top row and the bottom row here, I don't want to make it seem too exclusive, too separate, but yeah, because I think a lot of these things are going to blend over, and we will have to be carrying some of these wands also, if we want the haven that we can potentially manifest out of this to be, you know, what it can be. And that's another thing too. The Sun card in this deck is more an homage to the Marseille deck, which has a lot more emphasis on community and helping each other out, which is also a theme that is depicted in the Six of Swords and many of the sixes. So yeah, I found that very interesting. Oh, and before, I just want to mention this also before I forget. The card that confused me the most by far is this Ace of Wands here. It is so difficult for me to blend this into the reading that I was tempted to pull a clarification card on the Ace of Swords, but I'm opting to not do it. We have enough cards. Fuck it. I'm gonna limp my way across the finish line. So yeah, I think that whenever this lightning strikes, there might be opportunities created by it, but I don't think it's going to be obvious or simple to figure out what the opportunity is. I think that right now the focus for us should be really to, you know, put the final sandbags to make that barrier as solid as we can once the hurricane arrives, and hopefully, you know, the one of the best outcomes that can come of this is that the hurricane is a dud and that we were preparing for nothing. It would be great to not to realize, hey, we were freaked out over nothing. I'll elaborate a little more on what I am alluding to at the very end of this video when I talk about how I wasn't a fan of this question and why. Do I have anything else to add? Oh yeah, the Queen of Cups Tower combination was, it also leapt out to me in the sense that if we do the work, if we continue the work that we've done to get ourselves to this point, paying the haters no mind, like the Pisces season reading suggested, then there is an opportunity to be like, Tower moment? What Tower moment? I obviously don't think it'll be that stark, but to come to terms with how we might have to be flying blindfolded, and even without the blindfold, we can use the Force Luke proverbially to navigate the things that are ahead. And again, the idea is to be there for others, because the Four of Wands that's here, you know, I call it the checkpoint card all the time, but it is a card of celebration. So I think that you know, I've been delivering this reading in a manner that's much more doom and gloom than I would have liked, but there is an opportunity to just enjoy the moment and to try to not be doom and gloom as best we can, you know. I think that I have read everything. I cannot think of a single thing at the moment that I told myself I would say that I haven't said. So I think we're going to leave the tarot portion there and let's go to the oracle card portion. So if you chose this card, your card is Round and Round. This is very interesting. I'm actually going to need a moment to take a look at this. Give me a second. Okay, I get it. I think that the message of this Round and Round card is to just serve as a reminder that if you know what, fuck the caveats. I'm just gonna say it nakedly. There have been hurricanes in the past. This isn't the first hurricane. This won't be the last. And as long as we stick to the basics and just prepare and realize how this just fits in to try to detach ourselves from the current times, and instead of being apocalyptic like I've been desperately trying to not be, I sound so much more doom and gloom than I actually am. But anyway, to really realize how this is just another cycle, and there have been times like this before, and there will be times like this again, and humanity, humanity is still here. Yeah. If you chose the Moon Oracle, oh, finally a lunar phase card. So your what is this? This is the disseminating, waning Earth Moon. Okay, and the keyword is responsibility. All right, where is this? Okay, yeah. So the phase that's represented in this card is like right after the new moon, right after the full moon. So I think that the focus is with the power that comes with the work that we've done to put ourselves in the position that we are in, to really focus on what responsibilities that comes with. And it doesn't have to be a burden. It can be it can be a responsibility towards others. It could be a responsibility towards ourselves. It could be a responsibility to just be on our A game as best we can, even though we're flying blind. You know, I just have this vision of Luke Skywalker in the Death Star. You know, you just turn the visor off and use the Force, and you can embrace the responsibility. That's what I've been stumbling towards this whole time. So yeah. And finally, with the Oracle of the Radiant Sun, your card is concentration. Well, this is pretty straightforward. Let me give you a peek at this. So this is Saturn in Gemini. I think the message for this one, and this might not be the first time that I've pulled this card in a woo reading, but I think the message is to keep our eye on the prize and not get distracted. I think that with all the stuff that is happening and that might be happening throughout Pisces season, and you know, after a little, it's easy to get distracted. And I hope that you don't you're definitely, if you chose this card, you're being invited to not let all that shit happen that's happening distract you from what matters most to you. Yeah, so that is the conclusion of the reading portion. I'm about to go for into a rant, but if you don't want to hear it, that is totally fine. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps me out. And for those of you who are still here, here's the deal. When I said that I am not a fan of the question, this is 2 readings in a row where I wasn't really a fan of this question. But the thing is, as you may know, the month of March, as far as the space weather is concerned, the month of March is going to be a doozy. And if the month of March lives up to the hype, it's impossible to anticipate what the world will look like in April or May or whatever. And the situation that puts me in is that as the month of April approaches, it's more and more difficult for me to anticipate what we might need to know beyond that, which is why the questions have been more generic than I would like at this point. But again, I decided to go with it because A, I like this format, and B, it is quite possible that once we cross over into April, again, assuming that the month of March lives up to the hype, then it is possible that once we hit April and May, that it'll be even more difficult for me to anticipate what we might need to be prepared for. So I figured I might as well go with these, you know, more broad, more general questions, because that we might be flying blind And as a result, I might not even know what, should I read for potential mountains or should I read for potential valleys, or maybe we think that it's a mountain, but it's a hologram to protect the villain's super secret base or whatever. Or we think it's a valley, but it's really Galt's Gulch, So that's what I've been dealing with. And again, I don't know what is going to happen, but one thing is for sure, by the time the new moon in Aries arises, by the time the new moon in Aries happens on March 20th, I believe, or 21st or whatever, a couple of days later, there might be something big happening. So that is what I've been dealing with. I really hope that we can remain optimistic and keep our wits about us. And I hope that me just saying how I sound doom and gloom has just been me being self-conscious and being hard on myself, and that it really hasn't been that bad. If you think I've been hard on myself and that I haven't been that bad, please let me know. I'm not just spamming the algorithm. I really do want to know. But anyway, if you are still watching, thank you so much for your continued interest. I will definitely see you shortly for the next video. I'm looking at my calendar. I don't know where I'm at right now. All right, I'm gonna stop rambling. Thanks again for watching. All right, take care.